Hi, I'm Graham.
And I'm Steph.
We are Crystal Street Comics, and welcome back to the comic Catwalk.
Okay, episode 4.
Episode 4. Keep trucking right
Yeah,
on
I
along.
know, right?
Look at us go. Alright, so as the pattern has fallen into place this week, we finish off the first cycle with a Marvel male,
Yep.
and we're going to do the Man Without Fear.
We're going to do Daredevil.
I like this choice. It's a simple choice. He doesn't have a whole lot of variant looks to him, but his look has always been really iconic.
Absolutely, it's always been really iconic, even when it was hideous. I
Yeah.
wonder, the man who has gotten laid more in the Marvel Universe than any man ever. And he's walking around looking like a yellow, eyesore.
Yeah, I want to know how he got so rolling right into his first look was not what most people know as Daredevil. It was yellow and red, and it was a lot of yellow.
And you made this joke the other day, and it's absolutely true. You're like, it's Matt Murdock. He's blind. For those of you who don't know,
Yeah.
big spoiler here. Matt Murdock's blind. If you don't know that, you're probably watching the wrong show.
Yeah.
But the big joke that he made the other day was that I wonder what fabric store he walked in. It's like, I need some black fabric. And somebody's like, it's a blind guy here. Here you go. And it was just all yellow.
It's really, again, it's another one of those things where this guy works at night. But here's the bright yellow. Now, it's the Man Without Fear, so maybe he's supposed to not care that, people are going to see him in the bright yellow, but it was a terrible...
Yeah, but how are you going to be skittering across rooftops looking like a bus? Same problem I have with the Robin costumes.
Yeah.
How, how are you going to be skitting across rooftops and you're looking like a school bus?
Yeah. It's not a great look. But then we get, basically nailed it on the second go.
Yep.
And you get the red classic Daredevil. It's red from head to toe. You got the horns on the hood. You've got the eyes that are completely filled in. Now, it was that way in the yellow costume too. Which is always a unique look to the Daredevil because you literally never see his eyes.
Right.
And they're lifeless eyes. Whereas in comic books, Spider-Man and Deadpool and some of the other ones who wear a full mask.
Oh, Deadpool has filled-in eyes, but his eyebrows and the whole thing are just so...
Right, but the mask itself actually morphs. The eyes will widen. And with Daredevils, they're always kind of dead eyes. And I've always...
That's so perfect for the character, though.
Really liked that. Mm-hmm. And that red look is just, it's solid, it's classic, and it's hard to beat.
I love that look.
In fact, what I love about the red look is when they went to the Ultimate Universe, his costume was one of the ones that went through no changes.
Well, it's because it's perfect.
Yeah, it's a great looking costume. They didn't even really tinker with it in the Ultimate Universe.
But don't get me wrong, I like the black variant though. I don't mind the black variant.
Yeah, there is a black variant. I don't know in which context it was used, but it is solid black with red. The double D's are red. And the eyes are red, but the rest of the costume is solid black, and it is a cool look. I always like a black costume.
Yeah.
And this is a good-looking black costume.
Yeah.
Now it is still the Daredevil costume. It's not the other black variant that we'll get into in a little bit.
Yeah.
This one actually has Daredevil horns. It looks like the Daredevil costume.
So just cool your jets. Don't jump ass on us just yet. We're coming up.
We'll get to there, but. Those are kind of the main comic book looks. So we're going to transition into the live action. And the first time we got a live action, okay, hold on. If I say this, you all will quote in the comments below. The first time we got a live action Daredevil, he was actually on an episode of The Incredible Hulk.
Absolutely.
I know that.
Yep.
I'm talking about the first movie adaptation. That was, of course, Ben Affleck's mostly trashed and panned Daredevil movie.
I will say this. And I'm going to get crap for it, but there were a lot of things wrong with that movie. Affleck was not one of them.
No, Affleck was not one of them, and the costume was not either.
Nope.
That costume, I thought, was on point. Now, they made it leather instead of spandex, but that's okay. It gives it a heavier look.
Oh, the leather armor. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, the mask was great.
I thought the leather made more sense.
Yeah, I thought the movie costume was on point. The rest of the movie, maybe not so much, but that costume was fantastic. I love that look. And Affleck is he should play comic book superheroes in movies. He's got a perfect silhouette for it.
Well, not just that, he's a fan.
Yeah.
And it's always good to have a fan doing what you love.
Right.
All right, now we're going to go with the show black. And the very first time we see Daredevil in the Netflix show, he is wearing what is almost taken straight out of the comic books, the Frank Miller You know, the black around the top of the head, the black turtleneck, you know, all of that stuff. That is what Daredevil had before he got the Daredevil suit.
Right. It's nothing like it. There's no double D's on it, nothing like that. He didn't have a name. Of course, he goes through several names throughout the show, and it's a great simple costume though.
So hard to argue with that Frank Miller though. I mean, especially the way it translates onto the small screen. And yes, that Netflix show was fantastic. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. It's amazing. It's an amazing adaptation. But that translates so well onto the small screen. It would have translated great onto the big screen, but it translates so well onto that screen, and it's hard to argue with Frank Miller because he not just gave us that outfit, he gave us Elektra.
Right, and so go Frank. I don't always care for your art, man, but you write like none other. I do love Frank Miller stories, and that costume in the show too was great because I mean that was the primary costume in the show this season was that black. But at the very last episode, we did get a red Daredevil costume. It's different. It's red and black.
Now, I don't know if they went red and black because they were going with the Frank Miller iconic variant of, how Daredevil started and all of that stuff. And, people like to blacken up Miller's stuff. I don't know if...
It's an interesting take on it. It's very tech armor, which, I mean, is cool. It's functional. So I appreciate that. And I like that the red and the black, they give a reason for red and black, that it signifies two different levels of armor. It doesn't look as good as the movies one did, though. It's the mask. I think it's something in the mask.
You know what it is? Budget.
It's budget. It's budget. It's squared though. It's blocky in the face, and whereas Affleck's was
Miller's
really
stuff is blocky in the face.
But I'm just saying, for this TV show transition, it's very very square. Whereas Affleck's had that smooth Daredevil look. I think my problem with the TV show one is it's just kind of edgy, and I don't. It kind of got to me in certain spots.
I would have loved to have seen Affleck's Daredevil in that costume, in that. I mean, not that the guy who plays Daredevil in this didn't. I mean, he did
Charlie Cox was
freaking
amazing.
Fantastic job.
Yeah.
Okay, but I would like to have seen a younger Affleck maybe have a better shot.
If Affleck had the script that the show had, he'd be in a better position. But again, I've always said this on other shows that we have here. TV is a much better medium for superheroes.
Yep.
Because you have more time to flesh out stories.
Yep.
But again, just on a visual aspect, I think maybe the TV show's Daredevil costume fell a little bit shorter. It's still a good looking.
It's budget.
It's still a good looking costume, but I just think if I'm being honest and critical,
that's personal aesthetics.
Right? I didn't care for it as much as some of the other.
You know what though? He did such a damn
good job. The rest of the show is.
I didn't even care.
Yeah, the rest of the show is so good. It's just like when the costume came out, and it was a little subpar. I'm just like, you know what? You did everything else so well. I'm gonna let you have the slightly.
Well, you know what? And
costume.
I bet they're gonna have a better costume in the second.
I'm hoping for a better costume in the second season.
With the Punisher.
With the Punisher.
And Elektra, right?
Yeah. Who knows? I can't wait. So. That's it for this week's episode. So next time we will be back with a Marvel female hitting for the second cycle. And so I'm Graham.
And I'm Steph.
And we'll see you next week.